Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. We have somebody that can help change your life no matter where you are. Really move your life forward and do that in many different ways. Part of that is with energy. We'll get with that in just a moment. And also as a life coach. You're going to learn a lot today. Dione Shelton joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Very well. Very well. Where do you want to begin? You tell me, on the coaching level or on the Reiki level, what are you feeling to start?
Coaching first, then Reiki.
Gotcha. Okay. When it comes to life coaching, obviously somebody selects you because I would imagine they're stuck. I would imagine they need some motivation, some accountability. What do you hear from people most often nowadays?
Usually it's reference to relationships they've been in or some situations they're dealing with. And that's where I usually hear, like I'm out somewhere and someone will ask me some questions about something, or reach out to me in the sense of, well, what do you think about this? It's kind of organic. It just kind of happens that way. So, but it's usually, from a place that they're stuck. It's stuck in a relationship or stuck with some other issue going on in their life where they feel like they need some motivation or some judge to push them forward, for lack of a better word.
What's going on with people now? We're out of COVID. Are you finding that people are at a crossroads trying to decide, hey, you know what? There's something more out there in life for me. I haven't figured out what it is. Yeah,
a lot of that's going on. A lot of times, it was even going on for me. But a lot of times, that's what's happened. I think being inside made people really think about what their life was and what it wasn't, and realizing that 9 to 5 isn't always, it's not always the best thing. I mean, it pays the bills, but it doesn't fulfill them as a person all the time. So it's like, what else can I do? What is it for me? What else can I look into? And how should I go about doing it?
Do you find that people are afraid to make a change?
Yeah. I mean, because 9 to 5s are, they used to be stable. They're not always stable now.
Seriously, there is no loyalty in any job. I don't care what anybody says. You could be right. So. like years ago, maybe our parents, it was more of, Mr. Jones has been working here for 30 years. We're going to give him a watch and, he's solid. No. Nowadays, you could be gone tomorrow. You really could.
Yeah. It really could be gone tomorrow. It's just a matter of you look to somebody wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the fear and change. Most of us like to be doing what we're doing and just, feel comfortable. But when it comes to change, we fear it. We're uncomfortable with it. What's your suggestion to get around that, to embrace that change? Because that life is all about changes. We just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, it is. Well, I could think of a situation I went through 7 years ago. And that might help someone. I'll try somebody as quick as I can. 7, 8 years ago, I was unemployed. I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and my son was in his last year of high school.
Wow.
And it was just 3 years before COVID. And I was in a toxic relationship. So, yeah, that's a lot of change. But what I had to do upon finding out that I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma the day before my 50th birthday, I kind of had to take stock of things. It's like you kind of just look at it for what it is. Okay, this is a situation. I don't particularly want this situation, but okay, I can't sit here and just muddle in it. What can I do to get out of it? Okay, well, then you look at your resources, you look at yourself, you look at what's around you. In that case, in the time I had my son that was depending on me, I had 2 dogs and I had a house note and a car note and myself to take care of. And sometimes I still think about that. How did I get through that? And I think when I think about it, I just, I took stock of what it was, and I didn't let myself and no one else around me let myself sit there and just muddle it. You kind of just, you look at it for what it is. I mean, don't be scared of it because it's not going to change anything. So the only thing that's going to change it is you. You have to make up your mind that, okay, this is what it is, and how am I going to go about it? And I can't be scared of it because I'm not going to move if I'm scared. I'm just going to be stuck, and that's no way to live. You have to move forward. You can't just
Yep.
you can't expect good things to come to you if you don't move. You don't try, and nothing beats a failure but a try. So
And nothing is going to change unless you embrace the change.
yeah, you have to because it's going to be there. It's right. It's there when you wake up every day. Okay, well, here I am. How you gonna handle me? And I think the more you start to push your way through it, start to realize it for what it is. Okay, it's changed. All right, it's a situation I don't like. Okay, what are my resources? How much do I have? What can I do with the talents I have? What are the resources I have? And once you start moving in that direction, things become a little easier to deal with. The changes and so cumbersome and so daunting. It's just something you went, and after a while, it's just something you went through. But I think you have to take stock, and then you realize when you're going through it, you realize how much stronger you really are than what you thought you were.
Okay, you got me right to the point I was going to bring up. So we're vibing the same, we're thinking the same. Do you find that many of us make that change because we are forced to? Something happens, whether it's your health, whether you lose a job, divorce, relationship, whatever it is. We're forced to make that change, and it's uncomfortable, let's be honest. But then you start realizing that, oh, I got more resilience than I thought. Oh, all right, I can handle this. Oh, I can handle that. Did you feel that way in your situation? Because obviously you were forced to make some changes.
Yeah, I was definitely forced to.
Right.
Yeah, I think looking back on it, I still try to figure out how the heck did I but I mean, I realized that I was a lot stronger than I thought. I had support, but I mean, a lot of it I had to do my own. Those cancer treatments weren't fun, and I was on my own doing that. Drove myself back and forth to the doctor, that type of thing. Still having to provide for my son and my dogs at the time. Yeah, I learned that I was a lot stronger than I thought. I mean, life has a whole lot of challenges. It's just how your attitude about how you face it. I mean, not to say that I didn't have dark days. Everybody does, but you can't let yourself stay there. Get yourself a little pity party for about 5 minutes. Okay, cry it out, bust it out, cuss it out, whatever you got to do. However you want to.
I've heard the same thing. Many have said that it's okay. It's okay to have those moments, but you need to end it. It's like it's release it, let it go, and now move forward. And I know we all deal with different things, but I remember like 3 years ago or so, pushing 4. I remember somebody said to me in my situation, and that I was forced to make changes. I get it. They said, "How are you getting through?" And I didn't even think of it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just moving forward. Just keep moving forward. That's the only thing I got. So there's and the resilience thing. You learn, that you can handle things when you're forced to have to handle things. But again, you need help. You had help. You had support. You offer that as a life coach, taking somebody's by the hand and walking that journey with them, and some accountability. I got to believe goes into that as well, right?
Yeah, there is. I mean, you try not to push people too far for what they're ready for. You got to give them a level of comfortability where they confide in you and tell you what they need to tell you. But then you also got to put it here. Hey, put a restriction. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. Because sometimes they'll tend to migrate back. Well, start complaining. And then you got to redirect them, kind of like you redirecting kid and stuff. It's not a kid; it's an adult, and you got to take into account their emotions and what they're feeling at the time, and then gently guide them back to the goal. Okay, so this happened. Okay, how does that make you feel? Okay, so what do you want to do about it? Because as a coach, you sometimes people get a misconception of what that really is. I mean, you're not really telling the person what to do. I mean, in some senses, you might, but for the most part, you don't. You kind of help them figure out what to do. because the answer is really inside of them. You're just helping them pull it out and helping them dig for the resources to what they have, helping them think of things that they don't think about to help pull it out of them so they can say, oh, yeah, I can handle this. This isn't as bad as I thought it was, or at least I got this one piece. Okay, I'm good. And I can keep moving forward instead of just sitting there panicking. I can't do this. It's too hard. It's too much for me. Oh, God. And no, you got to get them to calm down and focus. And once you do that, that's half the battle right there.
What's the difference between therapy and life coaching? I think we should talk about that just to move that off the table.
It's funny because I was thinking about going back to get my degree in therapy. But anyway,
okay.
The thing about therapy, I think they tell you more what to do. I mean, and then there's they can also prescribe drugs, and there's methods and methodologies. Not that there aren't in life coaching too, but and life coaching costs a lot less. I'll say that. But there's an end goal in life coaching. And therapy, you can go for years. You can go for life coaching for years too, but there's usually an end goal. There's usually a set period of time in terms of the contract and how long you're going to do what you're going to do. Sometimes it's extended based on whatever challenge the person might have came up with at the time. But there's usually an end goal. And I mean, therapy there is too, but it tends to be a lot lengthier, a lot more deeper situations. I think like with mental illnesses and stuff, I don't think you would go to a life coach for that. You would need a therapist like with bipolar or something like that. I wouldn't suggest going to a life coach. We aren't trained in that type of thing. Unless you're a life coach and a therapist, then you could. But in the case of the life coaching, you don't really go through training for mental illnesses. You go through situational training more or less, but not for that type of thing. And they'll tell you when you're going through training that if a situation where it's a mental illness of some sort, like bipolar or some other illness, trying to think of the other one, schizophrenia or something like that, you wouldn't go to a life coach. You would go to a therapist for that because we're not trained to handle that type of thing.
Do you feel, and that being said, do you feel that with a therapist, you're going back in time? How did these things happen? What were you feeling, et cetera, where when it comes to coaching, you deal in the now and you deal in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of the situation of now. It can be somewhat in the past, but you try not to really focus a lot on the past when you're doing coaching that I find. It's helpful to get an idea of where the person's come from, what they're dealing with, but you want to move them on as a coach. You want to kind of keep them in the here and the now and move them forward and give them more positive reinforcement that way in terms of what you look forward to, not so much of what happened in the past. I think with therapy, it gives you a goal. I mean, it gives you a better a look at what's going on with them and a framework. And it does in life coaching too, but you don't necessarily start your focus there. You kind of start your focus, like you said, on the situation in terms of what's really going on at that particular time that they're coming to you for coaching for.
Can you walk us through how a session might go or how you might start with somebody, how that all looks?
Okay, I'm trying to think of it.
Well, let's say, we were working together and we just met, and would it start with you wanting to know what my goals are, and then we kind of move from there?
Yeah, it would pretty much start with that. I mean, it would be like a free session. It would be a consultation where I would talk to you and say, okay, well, what brings you into, see me today? What's going on? And then I would ask you, basically what's going on in your life. You tell me whatever the situation is. And I'd ask you some questions around that situation based on whatever that was. I might give you a couple methodologies in terms of how I plan on working out, how long I thought it might take. And then, if you were interested, you'd ask me, well, okay, well, how much is that going to be? And I'd give you whatever package or whatever I was going to give you. If it was going to be a month, then whatever, how many sessions a month and whatever, something to that effect. And that's pretty much what it would look like. You got to know pretty much what the situation is to try to get an idea. Okay, well, and it's not going to be the same for everybody. It may be longer than that based on the type of person you're dealing with. So it could be something that you could take care of in 3 months. It could be something that could be taken care of in 6 weeks. It could be something that's taken care of in less than that. It depends on how the situation is, and then I would probably price it based on, that type of thing. I mean, I'd have set pricing, but depending on what I thought it was, I might adjust it to make it lower, or whatever, based on the situation and the person's financial ability to do what they need to do. If it's because sometimes I find, especially right now, people don't always have the funds to do what they need to do or what they want to do for them. So you kind of got to work with them. You might have to make payment plans or something like that.
I know somebody that had a life coach, and I just want to share with you, it was a game changer in their lives. They realized things that nobody had ever said to them in terms of their habits, how they did their business, all of it. And it was actually in a very short period of time. I think it was like 6 months. Complete 360 for them. So it works. It works. How about you when you're engaged with somebody, Dione, the accountability? Are you available? Somebody's got a question. Let's say one of their goals is to lose weight, and would you be checking in with them and say, did you drop a pound this week? That kind of thing.
I can. I would probably set up a certain time and say, okay, look, it's been. I don't think it would be every week. I'll probably give them every 2 weeks because.
Sure. I'm totally hypothetical on that one.
Yeah, I've had that challenge myself, still having that challenge myself. But I would check in like every other week. Hey, how you doing? Are you keeping, attuned to your diet that we talked about? How's your mood going? Are you motivated? What's going on? How are you handling that? Because something like weight loss isn't just about weight. It's usually more than just that. But yeah, I would probably do that type of thing.
So let's pivot over, if we may, with the time that we have, to the other side of you, and that's as an energy healer. And you're level 2 certified in Reiki, right?
Yeah, I am.
And a couple of sentences for somebody that doesn't know. And by the way, I'm a big fan of Reiki. Been doing it, I don't perform it. I've had it done and mostly virtual, and has been fantastic. And even, I've realized things too, that, energy is real. How do you explain what Reiki is?
To me, well, I mean, it's a form of energy healing that can relieve stress, and it's based off of Japanese principles by I can't pronounce his first name. Yusui, I can't remember his first name right now. But anyway, that's what it is to me. It's a form of energy healing. It's where the practitioner scans your body to see what's going on and uses tools they have, i.e. symbols or meditating or however, to help you come to a better state, better frequency state in your body.
What do people tell you after a session?
I've had people fall asleep. I was so relaxed. I was dreaming. I thought I was dreaming. I didn't know it was real. I forgot I was having a session. I've had that happen a lot.
Honestly, I forgot about that. But when I did an in-person session with somebody, I fell asleep, and my friend was there because they were going to have Reiki done too. And I don't snore, but they actually said, "You were snoring a little bit." I'm like, "Yeah," because it was so relaxing. I was totally out cold.
Yeah, the first one I had, I remember falling asleep. I was snoring, dribbling.
Yeah, right. But that's fine. You don't need to be awake. The energy is still being manipulated, and I just find it fascinating. More so that you combine Reiki and life coaching. Would you do both with one client? And are there times where you might just say to them, you know what, you need Reiki. I can feel it, and just perform maybe a treatment on them.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, it depends. I would let the person know, or hey, this is what I do. If they just come in for life coaching, that's life coaching. But if I feel like they might benefit from Reiki, I would suggest it to them. It's up to them as to whether or not they want to do it. But and then I may just, give them a complimentary assessment. Hey, look, you're stressed out right now. How about I do a little Reiki on, I'm just gonna couple minutes if you're okay. I'm gonna lightly touch you. I'm gonna scan you, and let me know how you feel afterwards. But hopefully this should help you, at some point. It'll help you calm down and help your energy so you can handle this thing better. At some point, yeah, it's a good suggestion. And that's kind of how I came into it. I came life coaching first and Reiki second. And then I thought, why not combine them? Because a lot of times Reiki can be helpful for what you're going through. I mean, talking it through is good and it helps, but sometimes you're still a little anxious and stressed out, knowing what you got to face. And if you kind of sit down and kind of just have someone help you work through that energy, that negative space, then it's easier to cope with what you got to go through.
How did you know that it works? What was your, in the beginning stages, your aha moment that, oh, wait a minute, this Reiki thing works?
Well, it was on me. So I was going through a lot of stress in terms of family issues I was dealing with at the time. And I sought out a practitioner. I took one, I went to get my Reiki one, but it was, I was talking to a consultant. It's kind of like coach, but she's not. And she suggested that I take Reiki. So I had a session and I was also getting my Reiki one at the time. And it was an eye-opening experience to kind of help me learn to approach things a little differently. I still have my moments, but, and I still do my self-attunements when I get a little stressed out. It's like, okay, I need to do some Reiki. I need to meditate and try to do a self-attunement to get myself straight. And that's what opened it. It just made it easier for me to handle day-to-day stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've felt lighter, have had more clarity on a situation I was trying to figure out. And I'll make this 20 seconds long or less. I had a virtual session, didn't even see the person. And they text me after the session and said, I don't know what the deal is, but you were taking me along a little journey on a little boat. We were looking at like reeds and weeds, and I'm seeing a little sea life. And I don't know what that is, but I figured I'd mention it to you. And I believe what they were saying was, my Zen spot is going kayaking in the reeds, in the weeds. And they pulled that out. And there's no way you could have gone to Facebook or Instagram. No. There's no way. So that was, aside from feeling much better, that was my aha moment that, oh, wow, okay. They tapped into my energy. It's real. This is a real deal. And of all things, I could have said, do you like cheeseburgers? Whatever. That I was there for comfort purposes and relaxation. And they picked the one thing, the only thing that I do to really support myself in a Zen way. And I thought it was really cool. How does somebody engage with you, Dione? What's the best way if this is resonating? They got some questions about either life coaching, Reiki, or both.
Well, I'm still working on a website at this point, unfortunately. But it would be via my email or my phone. So, email is DINSPIRED10@gmail. And my phone, 202-914-6866.
Awesome having you on here. And I got to tell you, your energy is great. And aside from the certifications, life coaching and Reiki, you walk the walk and talk the talk. You've been through and overcame lots of challenges. And that speaks volumes for somebody that's helping somebody else. So I appreciate that. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. And it's been fun. I mean, hopefully that my little testimony, whatever, can help someone. But I'm glad to help. I'm glad to be of service because someone will service to me. And the life and world will be a whole lot better if we all help each other.
100%. One more time. What's your phone number?
202-914-6866.
Thank you again. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B. Console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C. Take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D. Help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.